Hi, I'm Donna. This is Coco. Oh, today's class is going to be a standing posture class, and it's to help with feeling grounded. A couple of, excuse me, a couple of blankets and maybe a block if you have one. We're going to start on the floor, so let's get ready. Let's take a lying down position so your back is thoroughly supported. Legs parallel, feet hip width. Good. Just take your arms overhead loosely. If that's too tough on your shoulders, put them back by your sides. Otherwise, just see how that feels and try to relax your throat, your chest. And if it feels okay to stretch them out straight, do that, palms facing. Just again, feeling if that tenses your neck or your throat, put them back by your sides if you need to. Good. If it feels okay, just stretch out through your legs as well. And feel your hands onto the floor, heels onto the floor. Press out through the soles of the feet, toes lengthen up towards the ceiling. Relax your throat. So feel the whole back of your body supported by the floor. Feel the lower back arch lift gently from the floor. The neck spine. Breathing and enjoying the capacity of each breath. Good. And then bring your arms in, feet back in towards your body, so your legs are bent, legs parallel, feet parallel. And again, just really give the weight of your body to the floor. Good. And you're going to bring the right leg up and have a look up at your foot. We want to press up through the sole of the foot, lengthen the toes, but really relax your shoulders. And you're holding where you can reach to and keep your shoulders relaxed on the floor. So your leg might be out here somewhere. You might have to hold your clothing. Okay, but you hold where it's comfortable for you. Let your belly relax. Let your chest be relaxed. Good. And we're going to try and keep that leg really straight and then just lower down slowly. Relax your hands. Good. And come back up. So bend your leg to roll that same leg back up. Right leg nice and straight. Lengthen out through your toes. Squeeze your belly slightly towards your back, but keep your back lifting a little from the floor and lower the leg. So we're just going to cycle through that. So bending the leg, lifting up, and then lowering down. Good. Bending the leg, lifting up, and lowering down. And one more. Good. So you're aware of the work your front core is doing to support the weight of the leg down to the floor. Good. And second side. So this time bend your left leg in, make it as straight as you can, and hold where you can keep your shoulders relaxed onto the floor. So you might be holding the front of your leggings. Good. And little back arch, lower back arches just up away from the floor, and press your belly into your back. Take notice of the sensations in your body, whether it feels difficult to straighten your leg. And that's okay. Just enjoying the capacity of your breath. Good. And then we're going to start to lower down slowly. So feel the front core supporting your back as you lower your leg. Good. And then bend your leg. Coming in again. Straighten out through your toes, really lengthen them, and then lowering that leg. Good. 3 more on that side. Make sure you're breathing. Really explore getting your leg very straight, the feeling of using your front core without using your shoulders and your throat or your chest. Let that part of your body be relaxed. Good, last one. Good. And then you can do both sides, one then the other, or try doing both together. So lower back arch lifts, press your core, lift both legs, and then lowering down. If you get halfway and it just suddenly really tenses your neck and your shoulders, just bend your legs to put your feet down and then slide your legs out. Good. Otherwise, lower down. Try to use the core, front core pressing, back core slightly lifting. Good. And again, try to keep your throat relaxed. Couple more. Enjoy really getting your legs straight, stretching out through your toes. And last one. Good. And then bend your legs, feet hip width, legs parallel. Notice the sensation that brings up in your body, whether that's a little tough on your back. Just letting go tension you don't need. And inviting the spaciousness of the breath into your whole body. Good. And then we're going to roll over to the right side. So bring your feet together, knees together, rolling right, and face the front of your mat, but take a kneeling position towards the back. So you've got room to stretch forward. Big toes touching, knees as wide as you need to for your belly to feel really comfortable. And lengthen the sides of your waist. Forward Virasana. And we're trying to lengthen the armpits here, but keep the chest wide, the collarbones wide. Good, and then coming up into all fours. And cat stretch, arch your spine up and arch your spine down. I'm going to stretch out through the fingers. Press the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers. And as you bring your attention along your spine, notice the places where it feels easy in the movement and where it might feel more resistant to moving. As you breathe, feel as though you're taking the breath particularly into those places of resistance. So you might want to just stay in those spots a little bit more and wriggle around a little bit. Easing movement all the way along the spine. Good. We're going to hold the spine reaching down towards the floor. Tuck the toes under Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. So lift your knees from the floor, press your heels, and lift your hips really high. As you lift your hips high, your spine gets a chance to elongate. Press your heels, lift your kneecaps, lift your quadriceps, lift your sit bones. Breathe deeply. Nod your head. Good. Bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. And if that's a little too strong, just take your knees back down to the floor. But otherwise, for plank pose, make sure you've got enough room so your wrists aren't over stretching. Good. Tuck the tailbone forward, lift the belly. Elbow creases facing so your arms are even. Good. Pressing back through your heels. Good. Bring your knees back down onto the floor and walk your hands back so that you're in a kneeling up position. Okay. If that's uncomfortable on your hard floor, you can put a blanket under your knees. Good. So I've got the toes tucked under. Great. And then you're going to start supporting your body weight back onto your heels. So you can put your hands down onto the floor to get your feet a little stretch here. Good. And you might even be able to take your hands off the floor and come back up to kneeling up. Really stretching the bottom of the feet. Draw your shoulder blades down, nice and relaxed. Good. And then hands back to the floor, and this time tuck the tops of the feet down onto the floor and kneel back towards your heels. And again, you can hold yourself off the floor if you need to, if it's too strong in your knees, or sit all the way down onto your heels. I'm trying to keep my feet, my toes going straight back. So it might feel a little awkward, a big stretch if you're used to letting your toes touch, but just see how that feels across the front of the ankles. You can always support a little with your hands to keep your body weight off. Or if you really need to, you can put a block in under your sit bones or sit onto a stool. Good. We're going to interlock the fingers and stretch out through the palms. Keep the shoulder blades down, reaching the arms up. Good. We're going to try and reach up through the index fingers, draw the shoulder blades down, neck relaxed, throat relaxed. Good. And then as you exhale, release and change the cross of the fingers. So other finger on top or in front and press out. Draw the shoulder blades down. Reach your palms up. Good. Neck relaxed, throat relaxed. Good. And then release. Great. And then walk your hands forward again. So we're back into cat stretch. Arch your spine up. Arch your spine down. Good. And again, find those spots all the way along the spine that might be a little resistant to moving, and spend just a little more time there, seeing if you can wriggle the breath right into those spaces. Good. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees just off the floor. Squeeze your belly to support your spine. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Press the fingerprints, base of the index fingers. Good. And then release. And this time you're going to just rest your feet. Bring your bottom back onto your heels. Forward Virasana. Make sure your knees are wide enough for your belly to be comfortable, for your spine to be able to lengthen. Good. And then we're going to bring the hips up over the knees and take your hands forward to the front of your mat and bring your elbows down onto the floor. Good. And we're going to take the forehead towards the floor, the chest towards the floor, but just taking notice of your shoulders here. So don't push. Just finding your way into letting go into this posture. Good. And then lifting your elbows off the floor, but keeping your hips over your knees and bringing the chest, the armpits towards the floor. Maybe you can rest your forehead on the floor. Let the throat be relaxed, the collarbones, the chest, between the shoulder blades. Good. And then inhale and coming up. Good. All fours. Cat stretch, arch your spine up, arch your spine down. Just wriggle into any places that feel a little resistant to moving. Whole spine moving. Good. And again, tuck your toes under. Lift your knees just off the floor. Squeeze your belly. Keep the front and the back of the neck long. Draw the shoulder blades back. Good. And then we're going to lift the knees all the way up. So we're in downward facing dog pose again. Try and get your heels right down to the floor as close as you're able to. Good. So feet face forward and they're parallel. Your legs are parallel. Knees look forward. Lift your kneecaps. Lift your quadriceps. Lift your sit bones. Oh, nod your head and just let your neck relax. Feel the space between your shoulders. The space of the breath. Good. And then from here, we're going to come up to standing and take little steps. Just watch your feet moving. You might run out of room and need to stand up, so do that when it feels right for your body. Otherwise, little steps all the way to the front of the mat. Flip your arms out to the side, arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, look up. And as you exhale, arms by your sides, Tadasana. Nice. Bring your hands in front of your heart. You're going to stand in the middle of your mat, so step back. Good. And feet are under your hips. Great. We'll have the arms by the sides. Close your eyes and tip yourself forward a little. Just feel the weight into your toes and notice which of your toes takes the brunt of pressing into the floor to keep you steady. See if you can spread that weight right across all 5 toes on each foot. Good, and then let yourself tilt back into the weight of your heels. Feel the whole ball of the heels. Can you feel the weight into the back of that ball of the heels? Lift up through your kneecaps, lift your quadriceps, lift the front of the hips, lift the belly, lift the breastbone. Good, and then let yourself come back to center and then tilting just at your feet, your whole body tilts to the left. So you can feel the outside edge of your left foot, maybe even your little toe pressing the inside edge of your right foot. Just notice any compensation you make in your spine, your legs, your throat. Good, come back to center and tilt all the way over to the right side. Feeling the outside edge of your right foot, maybe your right little toe, maybe the inside edge of your left foot. Just notice if you're trying to bend back up using your spine. Stay nice and long, both sides of the spine. Good, and then we'll come back to center. Great. Bring your hands in front of your heart and bend your knees. So sit your bottom back rather than your knees forward. So when you do that, it's not great for your ligaments. So knees over the ankles, but sit your bottom back. Good. And then finding the best position for your spine. So you can play around with that. Sticking your tailbone out and tucking your tailbone forward. Just find the position where your spine feels long, but that your front core supports your spine. So you're not compressing your spine or finding pain. Good, so really reaching the breastbone up. Great, and then we're going to come up onto right tiptoes. And see how you go, taking that foot all the way off the floor. So you're standing into your left foot, and if you need to keep your toes on the floor, you can do that. Good. Otherwise, you could even try bringing your knees together and feel the wobbling that goes on in your left foot. Good. And then we bring that foot back down. Keep the bend in your knees. And you're going to lift up onto your left tiptoes. Good. We transfer the weight into the right foot. This might feel some wobbling. It's good. Working hard. So take your toes off the floor if you can, and you can bring your knees together. Good. And then back down. Good. And straighten your legs. Sweep your arms out to the side. Urdhva Hastasana. Look up. Good. And as you exhale, Tadasana. Good. Bring your hands in front of your heart. We're going to step the feet out about as wide as your own leg length. Good. Turn your right toes out at 90 degrees and your left toes in about 30 degrees. Good. And we're going to have legs as straight as you can. Just feel that might pull a little somewhere in your legs, but we want to just find the stretch that feels okay for you. So as straight as you can, but not pushing yourself into the posture. Lift the kneecaps, lift the quadriceps, bring your hips level to the floor. Good. And sense that you still have both sides of your lower back nice and long. So we're going to tuck the tailbone forward. Use the front core to support the back core. Now the only thing that we're going to bend when we reach over to the right side is the right hip crease. Just let it get deeper and deeper. Good. So you can bring your hands to your heart, or you can have your hands on your hips, whatever helps. Keep your spine nice and long. And you just reach as far as you are going to reach. Some people can reach a long way here. And then you're going to take your arms to the vertical. So your right hand goes down onto your leg, left arm up, Trikonasana. Good. So you want to avoid the temptation to just reach a really long way, but then make a big banana shape with your spine. So you want both sides of your lower back to feel long. The left ribs, instead of making a rainbow up to the ceiling, draw them into the core of the body. Stretch out through both sides of your neck. Good. Feel the spaciousness of the breath, where you can find a little more space in your body for your neck. Good. And then inhale and come up. Good. And we'll do the second side. So bring your hands to your heart or onto your hips if that helps, and turn your feet to the second side. Okay, I'm lining up my right heel with the left inner arch, turning my right toes in a little, tucking the tailbone forward, lifting the belly, lifting both sides of the spine, using the front core to support the back core. And all that's going to move here, that's going to bend, is the right hip crease. We're going to draw that in towards the core of the body. Length. Oh, sorry, did I say right? I mean left. Left hip crease deeply into the center of the body. Good. So the left ribs are reaching over the left thigh. Good. And you just go as far as you need to go. You find your stretch, your strength, but keep your spine even, both sides of your neck even, and take your arms to the vertical. Good. You might even be able to roll the ribs here and look up at the ceiling past your thumb, but only do that if it's okay for your neck. And enjoy the space of the breath and the feeling of your feet firmly on the ground, holding you there. Strong legs, long spine. Good. And then inhale and come up and bring your hands in front of your heart. Turn your feet to the front. Good. And you can try jumping back lightly, or toes in, heels in, toes in, heels in. A gentler way to come back to feet under your hips, arms by your sides, Tadasana. Good. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Step your feet out a little bit wider distance this time. Turn your right toes out at 90 degrees. And your left toes in about 30 degrees. And we're going to bend the right knee. And you don't want to have the knee in front of the ankle. like I said before, but right on top or just in that direction. If you can, you try and get your femur parallel to the floor, but you just go as far as your knee needs to go, your hip. So you don't want to cause pain in this left knee. Good, so you might just be bending a little way. Good, hands are at the heart, and see if you can lift the heart back into the midline of your torso. Good. Reach your arms, looking over your right fingertips, Virabhadrasana 2. And find where you can reach into the posture. Out through the feet, out through the toes, up through the legs, up through the spine, out through the shoulders and the arms. Back through the left arm, left fingers, neck, nice and relaxed. Good, and then hands back in front of your heart and lifting up and turning your feet to the second side. So we're going to bend the left knee. So again, make sure your knee doesn't go in front of your ankle. And if you can, you're bringing the femur parallel to the floor, but just going as far as you need to. It might just be a really little way. We're trying to keep the legs in a nice, simple plane here, not kind of going at different angles, as much as you can. Draw the tailbone forward, squeeze your belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Find the position where the torso is sitting over the hips and see if you can lift the whole torso back up to balance over your pelvis. Draw the shoulder blades down, reach your arms. The shoulder blades come down so that your shoulders don't squash your neck, because then it's uncomfortable to turn to look over your shoulders. So shoulder blades down. Reaching over your left, reaching to look over your left fingertips, but reach back with your right fingertips. Feel the toes stretch out nice and long on the floor. Breathe deeply. Feel where the weight is into the feet. Feel the legs lifting, spine lifting, lengthening. Arms reaching, neck relaxed. Breath deep. Good, and then inhale. And come up, bring your hands in front of your heart. Turn your feet to the front. And you can jump lightly. You can heel toe back to feet under the hips. So your legs are parallel. Arms out by your sides. Tadasana. Close your eyes. Find your breath. Feel your feet, where the weight is in your feet, whether it's a little more in your left foot or your right foot. Can you feel right across the balls of the feet evenly, across the heels of the feet evenly, each toe? Great. Bring your hands in front of your heart and step or jump your feet out lightly to an even wider distance. Good, we're going to have the toes facing forward, but turn them in a little so your heels are out. Toes are in. Good. Bring your hands at the hips and lift your whole front torso, lift your heart up towards the ceiling, so making a little back bend, but lift the front of the legs to help you with that back bend. Don't just squash into your back or the back of the neck. So make the whole spine look up. Good, and as you exhale, we're going to keep the legs straight if that feels okay, or bend them if you need to, but reach forward, bend forward at the front of your hips, front hip crease, and you're going to reach your hands down onto the floor. Now, if you don't reach the floor, bend your knees and put your hands up onto your knees. That's all you need to do for gravity and the posture to do the work for you. Otherwise, you've got your hands down onto the floor under your shoulders, your legs are straight, lift your kneecaps, your quadriceps. Good. Arch your spine up to the ceiling. And then arch your spine all the way forward. And if you feel like you're restricted in your movement, bend your knees. So if you bend your knees, you get a little more movement in your back. But if you can do this with straight legs, do that. Keep your kneecaps lifting. Good. Finish off with the spine arching down or forward, so making a valley shape. Good. And you're going to reach your arms a little further forward and bring your head down towards the floor. Good. Feel where the weight is in your feet. Press the outside edges of the feet down. Good. And then we're going to walk the hands back under the shoulders. Good. You can either lift up with straight legs or bent legs, whatever feels like it's the best for your knees. Bring your arms all the way up and reach them out so you're a star. Look up, whole spine looks up, draw the tailbone forward, lift the front of the thighs. Good, and as you exhale, bring your hands back in front of your heart. Good. And then either jump lightly or heel, toe, whatever feels a nice way to move in your body. So we'll put the feet back underneath the hips. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Good. Lift the front of the thighs, lift the belly, lift the breastbone, draw the shoulder blades down. Good. We're going to shift the weight into your right foot. Lift up onto your left tiptoes and then bring your left heel up onto your right knee and bend that knee a little. So remember, we sit the bottom back rather than bend the knee forward. Okay, if you're really struggling with your balance, just keep your toes onto the floor, but do the little bend for your leg. Good. So you dorsiflex your left foot there. Just finding all those wobbles in your right foot. Good. Keep the chest lifting, space around your heart, neck relaxed. Good. And then release that foot. Keep the legs bent. A little extra work. Okay, take the weight into your left foot, but we keep the pelvis level to the floor. Lift right up onto your right tiptoes. You can keep your tiptoes there if you feel pretty wobbly. Otherwise, you can try bringing your heel up onto your left knee. Good, and we'll dorsiflex, so toes, right toes point back to the right knee. But pelvis stays level. Your foot might be wobbling a lot. That's good. Squeeze the pelvic floor, lift the belly, lift the breastbone. Keep breathing. Good. And then release, feet back underneath the hips. And standing. Oh, so nice to have 2 feet on the floor. Feel the lift in the kneecaps, the front of the thighs, the front of the hips. Good. Feel each toe on the floor. Cross the balls of the feet, the heels. Tadasana. Great. And last standing pose. We're going to bring the feet together. Going to bring your arms up and look up. Good. Lift the front of the thighs, the front of the hips to help you with your back bend. Whole spine looks up, so don't squash your neck to look up. Draw the shoulder blades down. Good. Now look forward and start to bring your right foot off the floor behind you. So you're going to start to bend at the left, front of the left hip crease for Virabhadrasana 3. And we're going to keep the hips really level and the leg and the arms in a straight line with the torso. And you might just go a little way. So just whatever angle you're going to manage with your hip, but keep the arms and the leg and the torso in one straight line. We keep the hips level to the floor. You're going to investigate all the little wobbling that goes on in the left leg to keep you solid. Some people might be able to come all the way parallel to the floor. Yes, parallel to the floor. Right toes pointing straight down. Good, but keep your hips level to the floor. And then come all the way up. Good. Land with your feet together. Release your arms. Close your eyes. Take in all the sensation. Was that straining or stressful around your neck and your shoulders? Were they doing most of the work? Does your left hip feel warm? Does your left foot feel warm? Breathing deeply. Good. And then we'll do the second side. So reaching your arms out. Reaching your arms up. Look up. Whole spine looks up. Remember, lift the front of the thighs. Lift the front of the hips when you make your back bend. Good. And then looking forward. So relax your neck. We're going to release the left foot off the floor and take it out behind you. Try to keep your left leg straight. And the only place we're bending here is the front of the right hip crease for Virabhadrasana 3. Reaching the front of the torso, long. Keep your arms and your leg in a straight line with your torso. And you might just go to a little angle, and that's already plenty of work for your right foot. You might be able to keep bending, but straight through the arms, torso, left leg. Keep the hips level to the floor. Keep breathing, keep reaching. You might be able to see what your foot is doing or feel what your foot is doing. Good, and then lifting all the way up. Feet together, release your arms. Lift the front of the thighs, the front of the hips, draw the shoulder blades down. Close your eyes. Taking in all the sensation of that posture. Were you tough on your shoulders or your neck like I was? Letting go of tension you don't need. Good. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Just check that that part of your body feels spacious and buoyant. And we're going to take a seat. Try sitting without using your hands, or use your wisdom, your common sense. I'm going to sit onto a blanket, and the higher your blanket, the easier to sit up straight through your spine. So I'll just use one here. That's for later. Okay. Sit out, legs straight in Dandasana. You can just see if you can get your toes all into one plane, so don't let them curl around. Even stretch them out wide, but also lengthen. Good. And we're going to lift the kneecaps, lift the quadriceps, and see if you can sit up nice and tall. Sometimes it feels like you're back here a little bit. That's all right. Just support with your hands. So you want your spine to feel long. Good. Draw your shoulder blades down. Relaxed in your shoulders and your neck. Good. Stretching up through your toes. Great. And we're going to come to lay down and use a blanket under your head and your neck if that feels better for you. So you're laying down on your back with your legs parallel, your feet hip width. Take your left heel onto your right knee, and we're going to let the knee and the foot start to head towards the floor on the right side. So if it doesn't want to go all the way, put your blanket underneath. If it feels like it's too strong a stretch for your back. Otherwise, you might be able to settle the foot all the way down onto the floor. We want the knee, the left knee, to be moving away from the torso. Both shoulder blades onto the floor. You turn back to look over your left shoulder. Just notice where that stretches in your back, and let your belly and your back relax. Good. And then see what it feels like to bring that left knee closer to the floor. So bring it in towards the torso and closer to the floor. Again, relaxing, finding every place that you can let go of tension. And again, trying to gently ease the knee away from the torso. But again, letting go of tension. Good. And then releasing, press the front core to support your legs as you lift up. Bring the legs back into parallel, feet hip width. Good. And take your right heel onto your left knee. And so we let the left knee, the foot, head towards the floor on the left. And if it feels too big a reach, it's too strong in your back, put something in underneath to make that feel more easeful. Otherwise, you might settle the whole sole of the foot down onto the floor, each toe. Right shoulder blade stays down onto the floor, and you can look in that direction and just experiment. So press your right knee away from your torso, but give your body a little time to let go of tension. Good. And then try bringing your right knee in closer to your torso or closer to the floor on the left of your mat to see where that stretch happens in your back. But let go of tension that you don't need. Might be in your shoulders, your face, your throat. Letting go. Good. And just try again, easing that knee away from your torso. And letting go. Tension changes, shifts in your body, so investigate that. Good. And then squeeze your belly, your front core. Release your legs back up to center. Good. And then feet onto the floor. So your legs are parallel, feet are hip width. Good. Bring your left heel onto your right knee and squeeze your right knee in towards your right shoulder. Good. And we're going to dorsiflex the feet strongly and stretch out through the toes. Good. And feel where your back is supported on the floor. See if you can lift your lower back a little way away from the floor. Great. And hold where it feels really supportive. So you might be just holding your legs with your hands. You might be able to reach through the hole under your left leg and squeeze the right knee a little closer to your shoulder. And for some, this is a stronger stretch than taking the leg up straight. So do the stretch that you feel you need. So you can take your right leg to straight if you like and try that. We're going to keep the heel on the knee rather than take the heel in front of the hip. So working on our awkward pose. So preparation. Good. So keep your lower back lifting, squeezing your belly. And I'm going to try and keep that nice awareness in my feet, both feet stretching out through the toes, wherever I'm holding. Good. And then release that side. Good. And then you take your right heel onto your left knee, dorsiflex your feet, and hold where it feels like you can reach to. Make sure your head and shoulders are relaxed. So you can put a blanket in underneath if you can't quite reach the floor. Good. And you might be able to thread the right hand under the right leg and hold the front of the left knee. Again, aware of where you need to stretch, how you need to put the right knee either further away from you, maybe you need to back off a little bit. Just making sure you're really relaxed in your face, your throat, your chest. Your feet are dorsiflexed. Good. And you might really need this stretch to keep going with bent legs, or you might need that different stretch where you straighten your left leg and take hold where you can, wherever that might be. Good, but keep your feet dorsiflexed. Stretch out through your toes. Feel where your back is grounded and see if you can lift your lower back off the floor. Breathing into the belly. Good, and then releasing both of your legs. Hug your knees into your chest and rock a little bit from side to side. And letting everything relax. Let your feet out. So your legs are bent, but your inside edges of your feet are together, knees are together, arms out by the sides of your body. Lift your hips and swing them to the left and take your knees to the right and turn to look over your left shoulder. And if your knees don't go all the way to the floor, that's where a block or a blanket can be handy to land your knees onto. And be curious about where you can let go of tension. Inhale and come back up. Use the front core, so squeezing gently pelvic floor, belly to lift the legs. Swing the hips to the right and knees go down onto the floor or towards the floor or onto a support to the left. We'll try and keep the right shoulder blade onto the floor, looking in that direction. And again, curious as to where you can let go of tension. Good, and then coming back up. And it'd be really nice to release the sacrum for a moment, and you can use your block if you'd like to do that higher. I'm just going to show you how to do that with a blanket. This is just a low support, but it might be plenty for your back, so you need to really pay attention to your body. So you put that in underneath your pelvis and then see how you go, taking your legs out to straight. It might feel really nice to have your arms loosely overhead. Might be a little strong for your shoulders. You can have your arms out like that. But just letting yourself fall onto that support, and the legs can just roll out, feet can relax now. So the higher that support is, the bigger the stretch you'll get for the front body. So take what you need. I might like to pause the video and hold it for a little bit longer. Really letting go. When you're finished, bend in your legs and lift your hips so you can take your support out. Good. And then one of my favorites, happy baby pose. Hug your knees in, and you're going to reach up on the inside of your legs and hold your legs if that's where you reach to, or your feet if you can reach there. We've been giving our feet a treat, give them a wriggle. And you just let your knees out as wide as you need, your belly be relaxed. And you can let your back press into the floor, supported. And the floor connected to the foundation of your building, to the earth, to the foundation of this building. And for the relaxation, you can add the Shavasana video to this practice, or you might like to finish in legs up the wall and give your feet a real treat by being upside down. Blanket. You can put a blanket in underneath your hips for legs up the wall, but you don't need one. The closer you get your sitting bones to the wall, then just the easier it's going to be on your knees. So make sure it's comfortable enough. You might have to put a cushion behind your knees if you have a little pain there, or be further out from the wall. Let's take one little look at your feet and check your legs are fairly parallel. But once you align yourself so that the center of your torso is in line with the center of the legs, you relax your shoulder blades down towards your back waist so your chest is wide, your neck is long, your arms are relaxed. You don't really need to do anything else. Hold this for as long as it feels restful, easeful for you. And take the feeling of your practice with you. Namaste.